Alright, we have this old Kenmore washer. I think it can be also Whirlpool. Pretty common issue, most likely be a coupler that is broken. It sounds like this, and so if we just put it in the setting here, regular wash, it should be agitating. Turn it on. Oops, it's unplugged. Plug this guy back in. Okay, so plug it back in. You can see if you open it quickly, you can see the drum or agitator not spinning, but something is spinning there. So this is pretty simple. It's either fills with water, spins, or agitates. One of these three. There's a short pauses here in between, but in this setting it should be agitator should be spinning. We can put on spin. Also nothing. So when the motor is spinning in the spin position, like let's say it spins to the right, then the pump is pumping out. When it spins to the left, and the agitator is spinning and the pump is spinning the other way, so it doesn't pump the water. It's basically on this motor everything is connected, the pump, the transmission, attached at all times. So at this point looks like a transmission is disconnected, and it has called a coupler, and I'll show you how to check it real quick without taking it apart too much. So just gonna unplug it. I usually shut the water off. If I've been doing this for a while, I try not to touch these. Sometimes if I see they're like kind of old, you move them and then they drip, leak, and you get more problems. So if the hoses are long enough, I try to leave them, but it's always better to. Oh wow, what an interesting dishwasher hose. So I usually pull it out and I tip it back, and I'll show you what it looks like underneath. That's the easiest way to take a look at the coupler. Okay, so got this this washer tipped. Just make sure we're not pinching any hoses. Let's take a look underneath. So this has an open bottom. It's pretty easy to see. Okay, so we tip it enough so it doesn't fall on me. So transmission has some oil. Seen that before. So sometimes I see this rubber shredded. It does have some looseness here. So a lot of times I see residue on the bottom. This has I don't see anything there. If the rubber is shredded. So this thing is so loose, like so this triangle is solid, this side is solid, that one is loose, so I think that one is stripped. Or oh, I can see there's a crack there. You can see that you can see the crack. See, I'm moving it. So this leg is moving around. That means that part is broken. This half is the side of this on the motor. That's the one that's broken. Sometimes you can see it a lot better that is broken. I can see. Here you go. See the crack? This is in two pieces. Like this one, they both identical. Like this side is good. See this like solid all the way around, and this one moving, and here we go. This is a split. Okay, so we need to get this cabinet apart and take the motor off, and then we can replace the coupler. It's pretty simple, except the motor is heavy, so it takes a little practice. It's only attached buy some clips. But yeah, I'm just gonna put it back, and get the cabin apart first. Okay, so we need to take this guy off, and there's a couple screws here, but they're hidden by this cover. Take a screwdriver and pop these guys off, and here's the one screw, and when you get the screw out, this thing tilts back. I try to take these screws out, so when you tilt it back, they fall out. So this slides forward a little. Forward and up. You can see you need to slide forward, otherwise these clips holding it. Flip this guy over, and these are the clips that hold this box on. And then the last thing you need to do is take the switch off. So this is also a very common problem, is the switch that's right here goes bad. Sometimes you can feel it not working, so you can see it fall in and broken, but it's a different symptom. Then usually it'll agitate, but it will not high spin and drain. So if you like agitating and then it stops and sitting without doing anything, or even just fills up with water and sits, it's most likely your switch is bad, which I have another video for testing the switch. Whirlpool washer lid switch testing. You just gotta bypass this gray cable to white cable, a copper wire between these two, and plug in the power and see if it spins. Then you know the switch is bad, which is same video, would be same thing, would be to get procedure, same thing, just to get to the switch here. But in this case, since everything's spinning, making all this noise and all the settings, but it doesn't move, then it's the coupler, which we saw. All right, let's get this thing open. Well, this guy's missing some screws. Anyway, put this guy out of the way. So I'm gonna pop these two clips. Pump just slides out, and then there's two more clips like that, but they are fastened by screws. So I'm gonna get the plug off. So yeah, when you take the bottom one first, then when you take the top one, it just falls off. Okay, and good light as always makes it easy, and the knee pad in this job. Otherwise, if you can't see and your legs don't work, you can't do much. These screws are for safety. Okay, stick the bottom one. Oh, boom, just like that. These hoses have water in there, so let's not yank on them too much. And here's the motor, and the coupler usually just sits on there, and as you see, it's destroyed, just fell in pieces. Alright, let's get a new coupler. Probably don't even need to replace that side. That one is harder to put on. You gotta tap on it to get it snug on there. Sometimes the rubber gets shredded, and this time this thing fell apart. The new one comes with the metal insert in the middle, so it'll come on snug on this guy, and then we can fix this guy. Okay, so this is motor coupling, part number 2855753A, and I see there's a metal on there, so it's a little harder to put it on, but it stays on, less of a chance to break. So a few tapping on it to get this guy on. Make sure you're tapping on the right on the metal piece. Otherwise, it'll crack the plastic. I kind of tap around. So you want this thing to be pretty much flush. There you go, pretty nice and snug. I will replace the rubber piece too. Okay, now the hardest part is line these guys up so the transmission spins. Let's put this guy straight down. Put this guy straight down, and hopefully it goes right in. I gotta have my clamp ready. So I'm gonna go with the top one first. I usually don't do it. Usually just show you after it's done, but I'll show you the struggles to get this on too, I guess, this time. It wasn't too bad. The pump lines up pretty easy. Have to turn the shaft in the position with the pump. Get the clips holding the pump on. A lot of times I see a sock stuck in this pump. If it's not draining, or if it's not even, it can jam up the motor. Kinda like this pump. Doesn't have any additional wires, power source. It kind of runs off the main motor. Motor is really beefy. It's a good old good design that is obsolete. So if you got one of these, probably it can make it last another 10 years. A couple things that do go bad on these is the clutch. Like with this, like the oil leak here. And eventually leaks on the clutch. And it starts slipping. So, but a lot of them have a small drip and it's still good for a long time. Alright, so this is it. This thing is back together. Just gotta put the cabinet back on. Okay, putting the cabinet back on. I like the washer to be out so I can get my hand on these edges to check, because these holes need to line up. And this is a strip here. If that's missing, it's gonna be harder. That strip helps you to line up the edge. So the sides, the bottom, the front, all the way. And it is probably one of the hardest things, just putting the cabinet back on after putting the motor on. So, but with some practice you can do it. So let's see how it goes. First of all, I need to put a few screws here, hold this thing together. Good thing I have some leftover screws from other projects. This should do it. So the first I clip the front edge. I move it close and I go under the bar, clip it on there. Yeah, this edge. Just come under, slide it up, some clips, and now as I'm lowering this, you can see these little holes, these little tabs supposed to go in there. Supposed to go in the hole there, so make sure. So you see this is catching here, so it's too far in. There we go. That's what it was holding it. That's what I mean. It's good to have a good access on both sides. Also here, gotta bring this guy in because it's flapping, and lower it behind that water dispenser. Pull this side in, and then see the cabinet is out of square, it's not closing, so you gotta move this in. So I go under here, I see if this is falling in. A little bump in the front. Okay, there you go, nice and tight there. So at the bottom, looks like it's fine. Little struggle get this one in. Just needed 2 hands. Oh, popped out again. So the problem is here, this one's bent. A little gap underneath there, my finger goes in. Alright, we're almost there. Just gonna try put this clip in there. Okay, that will hold this side. Okay, that one went in. So, I think I've done hundreds of these. And as always, a little bit of extra work. Something is not perfect. So here we go. It's just clips on here. Alright, we in. Just gotta put these screws in. Don't forget to plug in your lid switch. It's always fun when one screw is missing. Anyway, we'll find that. So yeah, basically this is done. Let's just plug this guy in. Okay, let's plug it in. you go. You can see it spinning. So we know we did a good job. It sounds differently too. It doesn't has the grinding noise. All right, just gotta put these fancy covers on, screws in, and we're done. So, all right, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully that helps. I know it's boring to see somebody struggling putting the screw in or lining up the cabinet, but that's what it takes to get this thing done. It's not only roses where you just can take the screw off, put this on, and you're done. So you get to see a real deal what it takes to take this thing apart and put it back together. Hopefully those little tips will help you along the way. So yeah, please comment and like, subscribe, and spread the good word, and God bless. See you later.